Hey friends, it's Mike here at Guitar Tricks, back with another video in my series on alternate picking. And so far in this video series, we've really only focused on rhythms that are even. And what I mean by that is that we have been doing exercises to work on this picking technique that use quarter notes, eighth notes, or 16th notes against the pulse or our metronome. Okay, so today we're going to talk about triplets, and that is going to be 3 picks per click if you're working with the metronome. Okay, so a little bit of a different feel, but very valuable to work on this to really sharpen these picking skills. What makes it interesting is that 3 picks per click gives you a down, up, down on the first click, but then an up, down, up on the second one. Okay, so that's what I mean by it not being an even rhythm, it's more of an odd rhythm. Okay, but the good news is after every 2 sets of groups of 3 that you're picking, it resets and starts again back on the downstroke. So with that in mind, we're going to look at an exercise that utilizes this fact and gets you used to playing some triplet feels against the metronome. For this, I'm going to use the key of E minor, starting at the 5th fret to the 7th fret to the 8th fret of the B string, and then adding in the 5th fret of the high string. So that's the first 4 notes of E minor here. I'm first going to pick a down, up, down for the first group of 3, 5, 7, and 8 on the B, and then I'm going to grab on the next upstroke the 5th fret of the high string, and then come down with a down up on the 8th and 7th fret of the B string, okay? And so that just goes up the first 4 notes and then back down, and it makes it easily repeatable. Let's hear it with the metronome set at 80 BPM here. 3, 4. Okay? Now we're going to expand upon this idea and start moving up the fretboard. So now I'm going to still stay in E minor, but I'm going to move up a position to the 7th fret of the B string. Now I'm going to grab 7, 8, and 10 on the B and 7 on the high string and use the exact same pattern. Okay? And then the next shape is going to be 8, 10, and 12 on the B string with the 8th fret of the high string. Now these 2 patterns will allow your middle finger to get in on the action so that you're working all the fingers, okay? So a way that I would do this with the metronome, I'm going to crank it up to 96 BPM, is to go up those patterns and then back down and make it into an exercise with lots of repetition. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so a little tip here to think about is once you get this under your fingers, start to pay attention to how much movement you are making with both your picking hand and your fretting fingers and try to minimize it. This will allow you to help increasing your speed a little bit. Okay, instead of your fingers getting all off the fretboard a little bit and flailing around, try to keep them nice and close to the frets. What makes this easier, I find, is to put the thumb in the center of the back of the neck. You're definitely not going to get it with your thumb wrapped over the top. Okay, so back behind the neck a little bit, and then just try to get those fingers just off the frets and move them very little. You know, as opposed to lots of movement. If we try to minimize it, it'll help your speed a little bit. Same thing with your picking hand, okay? Not wide picking movements, but still staying very relaxed, but just try to minimize over the string. Okay? Of course, with all exercises, you can practice these shapes all over the fretboard, different keys, different string sets. Okay? Just try to change it up every practice routine, but always remember to go slow with the metronome and just work your way with your speed, just going little increments at a time up the metronome. If you get to a spot where you're starting to fumble around and make mistakes, drop it back down and spend lots of repetition back where you can do it smoothly, correctly, and with no mistakes. Hope these exercises are helpful, and we'll catch you on the next one.